Rec, rec League podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 136 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram, or YouTube itself. What up, world? I just watched the Garfield movie. It is the third overall theatrically released Garfield movie. I want to say it's based on a comic strip. Garfield is based on a comic strip from Jim Davis. There was a cartoon in like the late 80s, early 90s. That's like my vague knowledge of Garfield and where it comes from. Stars the voices of Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, Hannah Waddingham, Brett Goldstein, Bowen Yang, Cicely Strong, Nicholas Hoult, others, Snoop Dogg, who voices a cat. It's directed by Mark Dindal, who has also directed Chicken Little and The Emperor's New Groove. You got Garfield. He's an orange tabby. He's lazy, hates Mondays, eats a lot. Kind of my spirit animal. We get his backstory, like how he came in to be adopted by John, but things out of his control put him in a situation where he is trying to help his dad repay a debt, and there's adventure. I watched the two Bill Murray Garfield movies for the first time earlier this week, and I also went to the dentist. The dentist was more enjoyable. But with that said, I expected this to be like Toy Story, the Lego movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Just great animation in comparison to those two Garfield movies. I didn't feel like this was much better. It is better than the Bill Murray Garfield movies, but not by a lot. Obviously I'm not writing. I'm not the idea guy. I'm just the guy who tells you guys his opinions on movies he goes to see. But it's just like a comic strip. How many panels in a comic strip in children, what is referred to as a newspaper? You can read it in 2.5 minutes. 15-minute Saturday morning cartoon in 1991. But then, like, I can't remember, like, there were pigs and there was an egg that had feet coming out of it. So, like, the half-hour block was half Garfield and half those farm animals. So Garfield might have gotten, like, 12 minutes out of that with a commercial break in there. It's just, like, expanding that to, like, an hour and 40-minute long movie, feature-length, theatrically released movie. It's hard. Because I assume you want to stay loyal to the character, loyal to the history, loyal to the lore. And outside of John, Garfield, Odie, Nermal, Pookie, how many of these characters were created just for this movie? None of them are memorable. The humor didn't work for me. Chris Pratt kind of shocked me at how good he was as Mario. As Garfield, he's just Chris Pratt reciting dialogue. The dialogue is Garfield. The dialogue is, I hate Mondays, feed me, I don't want to leave my couch, my bed, my comfort zone. But it's just Chris Pratt reading all of this. So I don't really think he fit as Garfield. He didn't punch up the dialogue and give it any character. And I noticed that, what's his name? Harvey Gillen is credited as Odie. he's just making puppy noises. For the, I'm in small town Texas, so like every theater is like this, but there were maybe 7 people in my theater. Not very many laughs, not even from the kids. There are some laughable moments, like there are a couple funny scenes, but the auditorium didn't like all burst out laughing. I don't know, like I've seen, like, swiping Twitter, swiping social media, like I'm not going on the hunt, but just in passing, like I've seen people either trash this or say it's the best animation of the year. I fall right in the middle. Like, it's not garbage, but it's, of the 2 animated movies I've seen this year, it's second. Yeah, I just, there, and like, there's a plan to do a thing, and like assignments are given out, and like, and the blueprint is being laid out, and it's like, you could be executing this plan as the blueprint is being laid out, like a back and forth montage or whatever. Explain it, watch the characters do it, step 3, step 4, etc. But then not, like there's like a training montage and all this right after. Like, they added stuff to try to increase and boost the runtime, and it was unnecessary. There's some heart, there's some warm and fuzzies in there. But overall, I was kind of let down by this, man. With all that being said, I will say that, in my opinion, the Garfield movie is almost solid. And it's just, I'm not the target demographic. Maybe all 3 of these Garfield movies are just aimed at, like, the youngest of young little kids. So, if there was a 4-year-old in the theater, they may have loved it. I don't know. Have you seen the Garfield movie, man? What you think? Positive, negative, somewhere in between? Let me know. I just put up a review for Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Last weekend, I watched and reviewed If and the Strangers, Chapter 1. Weekend before that, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Next weekend, nothing. I'm done with reviews for May. Rec League podcast, possibly the last one for a hot minute. Mad Max, Furiosa spoiler discussion, franchise discussion. Should be fun. So, like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Peace.